Good evening, everybody. We will call our Finance and Audit Committee meeting to session at 6:02 PM, and this is for January 26, 2026. And can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Lara,
Here.
Councilmember Fenn,
Here.
Treasurer Patel, Member Fernandez, Member Garcia,
Here.
Member Forbes, Alternate Member Cruz. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. And we didn't have any excused absences, did we?
No, sir.
Okay. And any adjustments to the agenda? Anybody? Okay, seeing none. Any conflict of interest disclosures this evening? Okay, and if everybody can rise and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Nicole, do we have any public comments for any items that are not on tonight's agenda?
I have no written requests. Simone, do we have any callers on the line?
We have no callers at this time.
Okay, thank you. And first part here, item C1 is introduction of new members. And so we have Councilmember Lara, who is joining us on this committee. Welcome. And then Dennis Garcia. Thank you. Ricardo Forbes. All right. And then we don't have Richard here tonight. Yeah. All right. Welcome, guys. And so on to item C2 for reorganization of committee. I will make a personal comment about it first, in that as a council member, we always encourage members of the public to step forward and see if they're willing to do that. And so we always like to ask if there's a volunteer versus us voting you in. And am I correct, Mr. Lara, that you would feel the same? Okay.
Sorry. Yes, Councilmember Finn, I do.
All right. Do we have to ask for public comments on this stuff?
We don't for this item.
Okay.
I would suggest that we do them separate. So a nomination for chair, we'll do a vote, and then nomination for vice chair and do a vote.
Okay. So with that, do we have any volunteers or a nomination for the chair?
I would like to volunteer for the chair position.
Okay, so we have Ricardo Forbes. So to make that official, I'll make a motion that we
second.
do we appoint Ricardo Forbes as our chair. We have a second from Mr. Lara. So is it better to roll call?
I'll do a roll call for
Okay,
this one.
all right, roll call,
A
please.
little easier.
Yes.
Councilmember Lara, thank you. Councilmember Fenn,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Yes.
Member Forbes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Already stepping up.
Would you like me to continue this or hand you the microphone?
I'd like you to continue.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So, so then now for our vice chair. Any volunteers, sir? All right, super. All right, so we'll make an official motion that we appoint Dennis Garcia as our vice chair.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lara,
Yes.
Councilmember Fenn,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Yes.
Member Forbes.
Yes.
All right, super. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
Thank you both for doing that and stepping up to do that. I appreciate that very much. And Councilmember Finn and I will be here to support you in any way that we can. Any questions that you have, don't hesitate to ask.
Absolutely.
And then Nicole, our clerk, is pretty well organized, and we'll have the format here for you and so forth. And you freeze, you can look at us, and we'll help. Sometimes we freeze too. Okay, so on to item C3 for the approval of the minutes. Do we have enough of a quorum present for the previous, quorum present in general, and then can we accept
Yes,
a yes vote if they were not on the committee prior?
if they've looked at the minutes and and approve the form of them, then yes.
Okay, all right.
No.
No,
But they can look at the
it
minutes,
was
and
only-
if they viewed
you were here, right?
the previous
No?
video or
no,
watched
it was just me. Yeah, I was the only one. Okay,
It looks like they viewed the video.
if you've watched the previous meeting and have looked at the minutes, you can approve it, yes.
okay. So I'll make a motion to approve, where'd I go? I see, we can lose my spot too, huh? There we go. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for, what was the date of the meeting?
November 17th.
November
17th.
17th, 2025. Can I get a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
For this, we can actually do all in favor, say aye.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Yeah, see, this is where it's a little different, is her printout's different than what this is, and I'm used to this, and so I need a minute too sometimes. All right. So on to item C4, it's our fiscal year 2025 to 2026 second quarter cash and investment report. And so we'll get a staff report. Is that Ms. Eustachian, is that you tonight?
It is,
All
it
right.
is. Thank you. Good evening, committee members. The item before you is the second quarter cash and investment report, and this is for quarter ending December 31st, 2025. And this report is provided in accordance with Government Code Section 53646 and the city's investment policy, which requires quarterly reporting to the Finance and Audit Committee prior to presentation to the City Council. Overall, the city's investment portfolio remains in compliance with the investment policy, with a continued emphasis on safety of principal, liquidity, and yield. During the quarter, the city earned interest across multiple investment vehicles. Notable items include LAIF interest of approximately $578,000, net earnings of approximately $766,000 on the portfolio managed by a public trust, and continued earnings in the Wells Fargo sweep account, California class, HCN accounts, and PARs. While LAIF earnings were slightly lower than the same quarter last year, overall portfolio earnings remained strong. Staff also monitored upcoming maturities, including 2 BMO certificates of deposit totaling approximately $3.8 million that mature in late January and early February, and the proceeds were evaluated against current portfolio concentrations and market conditions. The city remains well below policy limits for both certificates of deposit and institutional exposures. And given current market conditions, staff is recommending a balanced reinvestment approach. That's allocating the majority of the proceeds to the sweep account to take advantage of current yields, while reinvesting the smaller portion into a 6-month certificate of deposit to provide limited protection should short-term interest rates decline. Staff is recommending the committee receive and file the second quarter cash investment report, and I'm available for any questions you have.
All right, thank you. Nicole, do we have any public comments?
I have no written requests. Simone, do we have any callers on the line?
We have no callers at this time.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee?
I do have a comment on you said there's 3 million, right, proceeds?
Of the CDs, yes.
CDs, and then that pulls out and then it can be reinvested?
Right, so we'll cash one out, and we'll put that into our sweep account, which is our Wells Fargo checking account, and then the other portion we'll reinvest into a new CD.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, can I get a motion to receive and file?
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
I'll second. A roll call, please.
For this, we can say
Oh,
all in
yeah.
favor.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, passes. Thank you. And on to item C5, the review the budget assumptions. So it's fiscal year 2026 to 2027 budget planning. And we'll have a staff report by Jennifer as well?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
This item is to review and provide feedback on the budget assumptions that will be used in developing the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. So the city has initiated the annual budget development process in accordance with the city's financial policies. As a reminder, our budgeting framework is guided by 3 core principles. Its revenues are estimated conservatively, expenditures anticipate reasonably predictable needs, and forecasts rely on a consistent set of economic assumptions developed and distributed by the finance department, and that is within the city's financial policies. Finance staff have prepared the revenue assumptions that will be applied to the operating funds and have coordinated with departments to ensure department revenue assumptions are reasonable and supportable. In parallel, staff have developed the economic assumptions that will be used in building expenditure budgets, providing a consistent foundation across the departments. Tonight's discussion is intentionally focused at a high level. The purpose is to confirm the reasonableness of the assumptions before departments begin detailed budget development, rather than reviewing specific line items. And staff is seeking the committee's feedback on the overall approach and assumptions to ensure they align with the city's financial policies and risk tolerance prior to moving forward with the 2026-27 budget build, which we're currently in process now. So I'm available for any questions that you have.
All right, appreciate that. Nicole, any public comments?
I have no written requests. Simone, do we have any callers on the line?
We have no callers at this time.
Okay, Jennifer, I'll start off with a couple questions. So, one, I appreciate the conservative viewpoint on this. I see the revenues, a lot of them were, averaging or trying to estimate maybe 95%. So there's a buffer in there. The main question I have is in reference to the expenditures. Is there any new categories that were added, and then anything that was substantially higher than what maybe was expected? Like I remember seeing one of the utility ones at like 6.5% or something like that. I think it was for gas,
Yeah.
So we know life's getting expensive elsewhere, I assume the city sees that as well. And I guess what my question is there anything that staff went, and so something that maybe should be brought to our attention to pay attention to that would maybe potentially affect council's decision on how the budget's put together?
Yeah, so what we do when we're evaluating the assumptions for expenditures, we go back and we look at CPI data index, right? And we kind of compare that to the Ontario Riverside area to specifically see what that is. Most recent, at the time that this was prepared was November numbers. They were a little inflated and compared to the last viewed, which was in August. So specifically utilities, I think CPI for all items and food, right, was higher. So there were some categories that were normally produced, but because of the federal government shutdown, they were not able to do all items. So there was a approach to look at what August, or if they had August, what August was, and then to look at where it kind of lined with what would it be for November. So those were put in for that place, mostly through travel. It was a travel CPI.
Okay, so then when we're looking at the list that's in the agenda where it says expense budget planning, those percentages are coming from the report?
They're coming from specifically the CPI index.
Gotcha, okay, and that's just for clarification, that 6.5 that caught my mind was electricity.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm good. Anybody else have any questions?
When does our fiscal year begin?
The fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th.
Okay, got it, thanks.
Yeah.
And then often you'll see reports as they go through that they'll show percentages of items, where we're at on the budget. Some are one bill at one time during the year, so the percentages can be off, and all of a sudden it just all gets paid at once, or we're waiting for a bill from the fire department,
yeah.
I remember that one's always different, and so forth, so, okay. So with that, let's see, where am I at? And then we're just, are we receiving file? No, or we're just to move this forward to the,
Yeah, it's to provide direction
Council,
and then it could be
okay.
receive and file.
okay, all right. So can I get a motion on that, or do you have a question, Mike?
Just a quick question. Can you explain, because when you're looking at revenues and how they come in at different times, what our new members can expect to kind of see? Because, well, it'll look like we're behind projections, but that's because the release from the county is,
Right. Are you going to go over that in your presentation, actually?
did we do that?
So, yeah, so normally we do have, and I believe in the budget presentation that Marcia's going to be doing next, she might cover some of that. But
Okay.
usually when we receive revenues, we don't receive them at the same time we're spending. So you'll see that expenditures at the beginning of the year will be higher than what revenues will be because tax revenues come in later.
Right.
So as you get that, you have about a 3-month period where you have kind of a catch-up going on. So you're spending dollars, but not necessarily receiving the same amount. So, and that's because government agencies do a lot of accruals, and they have to, kind of match things and then send out the payments. So it takes a little bit of time to get those tax revenues in, which is the majority of the government's revenue budget.
Got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this one does not require a motion, it's just a feedback.
Okay, all right, super. All right, appreciate that. Okay, so then we will move on to item C6, which is our fiscal year 2025 to 2026 second quarter budget to actual. So that's kind of, we're stealing a little bit of your thunder there, Marcia.
No worries.
And so we'll have a staff report by Marcia, so go right ahead.
Good evening, committee. Marcia, I'm the budget analyst, and I'll be going over the second quarter budget to actuals. Okay. Okay, we're going to review the general fund revenues, general fund expenditures by department, and general fund expenditures by category, and wastewater fund revenue and expense, and transit fund revenue and expense. So the general fund revenue, as you see in the graph here, as of December 31st, we are at 30% of the budget revenues have been collected. Most of the general fund revenue budget is from taxes. Property tax is usually recorded in December and in May, and sales tax is received in monthly advance estimated payments and then a quarterly actual cleanup payment. To date, the tax payments for July have been recorded. Other taxes include motor vehicle in lieu, which are received in February and June, so they're not recorded yet, as well as utility user taxes that are received monthly, which accounts for the majority of the revenue received to date. Miscellaneous revenue will decrease as the second quarter investment earnings get allocated to other funds for their share. Overall, we are taking the conservative approach and expecting revenues to come in at budget. Any questions about that?
Thank you. So Nicole, any public comments?
I have no written requests. Simone, do we have any callers on the line?
We have no callers at this time.
All right, thank you for the committee. Any questions?
Yeah, just your general fund revenues table. And I'm sure it is a basic, simple explanation, but the current budget relative to the actual, there's a great discrepancy. Is that because the revenues, like you mentioned before, hasn't come in yet? Or?
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any?
All right, any others? I need a second. I might have one.
Okay. Do you want me to go back?
I just was looking at the expenditures, and oftentimes we'd look to see if something just looks out of whack. And I know that, the timing is off a bit.
I can present, and if you have questions after.
Mike, do you have any?
I'm good, right?
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you very much, Councilmember Penn.
I do have one. The one that's got the biggest figure on there, in the general fund expenditures, is the risk in HR. Hey, Carrie. So gentlemen, this is Carrie Mendoza, our HR director.
Good evening. Human Resources and Risk, July 1st, your large insurance pool payment comes out. So it comes out right at the beginning of the fiscal year. So I'm behind before we even really get started because I've got to do that first month of the fiscal year. So I think I'm showing that I'm 75% expended when I should be closer to 50. But it's due to that premium, that reinsurance premiums are due at the beginning of the fiscal year.
Does that premium, does it change based on the number of employees we have? So if we get more, then it goes up, and is that accounted for the recent, all the new hires we've had?
Correct. It's a progression of everything, how many facilities, because it's our general liability as well as
Okay.
workers' comp. It's a whole conglomerate of things. Everything from how many facilities do we do? Every year we add new parks, we add those to our list, things like that. So it encompasses everything. So our general liability, auto, cyber, what else do I have? Labor, everything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, very good, nice. And another one that stands out for me often is legal, and we're doing okay there, so.
Yes, we're doing all right there.
All right.
That's mine too.
All right, very nice,
How
thank
about
you. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one more question related to the fire at 0.2% expenditure. Could you explain why it's so low?
Yeah, that's the one I hinted at earlier, and I asked 2 or 3 times in the past, so go ahead.
We get our invoice from the county, Riverside, and they're usually a little lag time in receiving those invoices to pay. We have received it, but it didn't hit prior to December 31st.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So on page 3, I'm assuming you're looking at the staff report, that gives you the breakdown of the general fund expenditures by department, which reflects spending at 36.6% of the budget. The departments that are either 10% higher or lower than the threshold of 50%, which are at either 60, higher than 60 or lower than 40, are highlighted in the report, which include the non-departmental that represents a credit balance to the expenses for projects that were closed or completed, and the remaining funds moved back to the general fund. So it's got the opposite sign of what it normally would look like. And the departments highlighted in yellow are likely due to the timing of the invoices posting after the 31st.
Okay, and so on page 58 of the agenda where you have there's the different categories, personnel, operating capital, and so forth, it has transfers. Jennifer or Marcia, could you explain what happens with, because when we have transfers, money's coming, money's going out, coming in, and it never seems to line up perfectly with our reports and so forth. Could you just take a moment and explain to help our 2 new guys with that?
Yeah, so we do use transfers, and that could be either transfer in or transfer out. So transfer ins are revenues that normally are coming from other funds, usually special revenue funds that come into the general fund and help support whatever they are used for, right? So sometimes that could be for police services, CFD administration expenses, things like that. Transfers out, that is any funds that are leaving the general fund and going to a different fund. Usually that would be like capital projects fund. So if you have any general fund appropriated dollars that have gone to capital projects, you'll see a transfer out for those dollars.
All right, thank you. Okay, any other questions, or can I get a motion to receive and file?
We're not done.
Oh, sorry, my bad. There I go, stealing your thunder again.
That's the general fund.
Oh, that's right, we got
expenditures by
we
department.
got the restricted funds with wastewater.
Yeah,
Okay,
that too.
whole nother category, guys.
Right, so the next category is general fund expenditures by category. This chart represents expenditures by the type for the second quarter. Currently, there are no categories over budget. Personnel is currently at 61%, operating is at 35%, and capital, contingency, and the transfers are at 4% of the budget. Any questions on that slide before I move on? Okay. All right, this is wastewater. This is a special fund. It's outside of the general fund. Wastewater revenues are collected in arrears, and the July billing is accrued back to prior fiscal year, and the first billing for fiscal year 26 was collected in September and November's. Billing is completed bi-monthly, And as of December 31st, the wastewater fund has collected 36% of its budgeted revenues. This percent is the proprietary revenues related to billing. The other financing sources is recycling receipts, and then overall wastewater revenues are expected to come in at budget.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
A quick question, where are we on reserves? So wastewater is a separate fund, so we can't support it with any general fund money. So one of the things that, for me, that I really look at and worry about are reserves. How much money do we have? Because if something breaks that we don't plan for, we're going through right now, sewer line that broke in Tuckwit Canyon on the golf course. That, obviously you don't plan for that, so that money typically comes out of reserves. And so where are we on reserves, and how is that looking?
Yeah, so per the policy, wastewater reserves are required to be at 25%. Currently, right now, it's sitting about 48%. So reserves are in good standing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, wastewater expenses have personnel at 25% of the budget, operating at 35%, and contingency at 1%, and then the transfers at 39%. The 39% of the transfers make up the debt service payment. Overall expenses are expected to come in within budget. Any questions on wastewater expenses?
Nope.
Okay. All right, next is transit. Transit's also a enterprise fund, so it's outside of general fund and outside of wastewater. As of December 31st, total transit revenues are currently at 49% of budget. Taxes collected are Measure A, operating assistance, which is quarterly, and it's at 25%. Intergovernmental is RCTC, and grant funding at 51%. Miscellaneous revenue is interest lease revenue at 31% of budget. Excuse me. And proprietary revenue are the bus fares at 48% of the budget, with other financing resources at 52% are revenue from the EV charging stations. Any questions on transit revenue?
No?
Yes,
Oh, go ahead.
you mentioned grants. What grants are these?
I don't have the list of the grant funding, what grants they are. But
State,
it's-
federal, I assume? State, got it.
Transit expenses are currently at 45% of the total budget, with personnel at 83%, operating at 16%, and capital at 1%. Any questions on transit expenses?
No, I don't think so. Any guy? No? Okay. So now we're,
That concludes my
all
presentation.
right, thank you, Marcia. Sorry for cutting you off multiple times.
Councilmember Finn, one second. So as we go through these budgets, since they run from June to July, so what we'll do, or what I look for, is to see if there are any, what I call the mid-year, which we just went through.
Yeah.
So you want to look to see if there's any mid-year adjustments, things that we need to be cognizant of, or maybe something that, since like Councilmember Finn was referring to, some of those red flags, right? Finance staff is great. They're very good at if you have questions, give them a call. They can talk at any level and make you understand it, or get you to understand it, at least for me anyway. So just feel free to reach out to them anytime that you have questions on our budgets and things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Councilmember Finn.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, could I get a motion to receive and file?
I'll move to receive and file.
All right, I'll second. And roll call, please.
And for this, we can do all in favor. say
Oh,
aye.
okay, all right. Used to council the way you do it.
Right, right.
Or you're accountable for every decision. All right, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, it passes. Thank you. And we are on to our subcommittees. I don't know if we have any reports, but we have two in place, an internal control committee. And what that is, gentlemen, is when we have an audit, and if there's any findings in the audit, then our committee will help review that with staff to make sure that any recommended actions that come from that audit are taken care of, and a new policy or, is updated maybe if that's needed or so forth, a procedure put in place, and so forth. But we've done really well with our audits the last couple of years, so congratulations to the finance team on that one. And then there's a consultant review committee. So when a request for proposal goes out, and those bids come in, then we usually ask this committee to go over those bids and look through that. And we get some good input from staff. They'll help with a scoring of those and so forth. And so it gives an opportunity, and that might be just of maybe everybody can serve on that, and it's just kind of an as-needed basis. And if something comes up, then staff can reach out to all of us to say, hey, are you available for a particular review? And any subcommittee that we do, we tend to have it where it's less than a majority. For example, when it's the council and to follow the Brown Act, we have 5 council members. So if we have a subcommittee, we put 2 on there, because 3 aren't allowed to talk about business unless it's in front of the entire public in a formalized meeting. So oftentimes, they'll just need 2 volunteers to step in and help out. Do we have any of those consultant reviews coming up on the horizon? I
We
see
do.
a nod in the
So
back.
we have some proposals in from our investment advisor RFP, and we are looking to do with the committee a review and schedule interviews over the next couple weeks. So
Okay.
we would like to get an idea of who those committee members are so we can reach out and schedule those.
All right. I think we're back to the volunteer thing again. Jennifer, just a general idea, how many meetings do you think it would take? Do we need to follow, staff hours on something like that? And then about how long, so what would be the overall commitment?
So we did receive 9 proposals. We do have an evaluation committee that are narrowing it down to the top 3. From those top 3, then the committee would review those proposals and then be on the interviews and then part of the selection process for that. So you're looking at probably a meeting to just get the information over, and then the 3 interviews, and then a final wrap-up.
So probably 3?
Probably 5 meetings in total, but.
Oh, 5
but
meetings,
yeah,
okay.
The 2 at the front and the end wouldn't take too long. It's more so the interview process.
And what is our proposed deadline to bring this to council for a decision?
We're hoping to bring contract in March.
Okay. Any volunteers? All right, we've got both of them. Okay, we've got our 2. Is that enough for you?
Yes,
All
that
right,
works.
super.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll reach out and get.
And then they'll
schedules.
work with you to find an appropriate time to meet. Do they need to meet with staff together? Or if need be, could it be separate if their schedules don't match up?
Yes, it could be separate. The only thing that we would have to all be there for is the interviews.
Okay, very nice. Okay. All right. Appreciate you guys' willingness to help out. Okay. Any comments from our committee members? All right, Mike, thanks for sharing your knowledge with the group. And so then we'll end that, and we'll move on to our treasurer's review and comments. Oh, no, he's not here. I'm saying treasurer, and I'm looking right at our finance director. All right, so Jennifer for the finance director comments.
I have no further comments this evening. Thank you.
All right, super, okay. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate your willingness to help, and our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 27th at 6 p.m., so we do this every other month. If there's a special need or something that comes up in direction from council, then we may have something where they'll request to pull us together and meet again. But in terms of a regularly scheduled meeting, we're on a 2-month cycle. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 6:36.
Thank you.